Coming up, Tzu Chi volunteers of the Philippines were invited to an open dialogue between different religious leaders. With Taiwan being one of the largest aging society in the world, is the country nurturing enough caretakers for the elderly? Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Marilee Shoda. Thank you for joining us. We begin today's program in Jordan with a follow-up story of a care recipient from Wadi Abdun that Tzu Chi volunteers lost in contact with back in August when the city forced the family to relocate. A week after their reconnection, Tzu Chi volunteers visited her at home and brought some secondhand clothing for the family, along with some nourishments. Jordan Tzu Chi volunteers had once lost contact with this care recipient from Wadi Abdun. Thankfully, they found one another again. The following week, Tzu Chi volunteers visited her current home and brought food and shoes and socks for the children. The care recipient says she had a dream about the volunteers the night before, and it was nice to see her dream come true the very next day. In the Philippines, a fire broke out on January 30th in a slum area near Manila. A total of 224 families were severely affected. Currently, fire victims are staying at a nearby church. Tzu Chi volunteers recently hosted a relief aid distribution to support and comfort the affected residents, helping them to quickly get back on their feet.
In this slum area, hundreds of houses have been burned down without any roof being intact. More than 200 affected families have to temporarily stay in a nearby church. To help the fire victims get through the difficult time, Manila Tzu Chi volunteers brought relief items for them, including mattresses, daily necessities, and rice.
I feel thankful for receiving these relief items. This is a great help to us, especially the current time after we lost everything. Thanks again to all of you.
Thank you for providing relief items for us, which are helpful for our daily life. We were unable to save anything from the disaster, so we thank you and God for coming into our life.
Unfortunately, a 1-year-old infant died from the fire. Edwina feels particularly sad because she used to be the child's babysitter.
I think Tzu Chi volunteers are sent here by God to help us. Because of your assistance, we are able to have the courage to live.
These relief items are a great help to us. Because of your assistance, I hope I will have the opportunity to become a volunteer to help those in need.
Besides providing relief supplies for the fire victims, volunteers also lead them to pray, giving them confidence and courage to rebuild their homes.
Staying in the Philippines in light of the World's Interfaith Harmony Week, which seeks to provide a platform for religious leaders to focus on their similarities with one another, various religions and organizations, including Tzu Chi, were invited to a breakfast at Mandaluyong City earlier in February. Religious leaders of various faiths of the Philippines gather in Mandaluyong City for the Harmony Breakfast as part of the World's Interfaith Harmony Week.
I think they recognize Tzu Chi is also an important part of the interfaith or different sectors, no? And for this kind of activity is also good for everybody to promote peace and unity of from different religion or different faith.
The Tzu Chi Foundation was invited to attend to share what Tzu Chi has done all over the globe. The religious leaders present have as many things in common with one another as their differences in creed.
Yes, basically it's love, it's charity. Our love for humanity and our love for nature and the world. And that is very important, our love for creation. There can only be peace and order if we follow love in our hearts and love that we can see there in creation.
The word Islam means peace.
The word Islam means peace. This means working together to achieve peace. Sadly, there are people that misinterpret Islam, Muslim or non-Muslim.
Either Muslim or non-Muslim.
It has always been our practice as Buddhists and also the practice of many religions, and this is the very important similarity or tie that we bring together.
This gathering of representatives of different religion or faiths will foster bonds between one another to help bring a new world overflowing with love. Indonesia's Jakarta was severely damaged by a devastating flood in 2002. In the aftermath of the disaster, Tzu Chi provided long-term care for flood victims in terms of living accommodations, education, as well as medical assistance. A nurse from the Tzu Chi hospital, Ria Flossie Natalia, recently joined Tzu Chi volunteers to personally care for a retired doctor who suffers from Parkinson's disease. After this experience, she hopes she can do more for the needy.
In a hospital, we can see many people suffering, but if we want to provide more care, we have to go outside into the community. Nurse Ria joins Tzu Chi volunteers to conduct home visits for the first time. Their care recipient is a retired daughter who suffers from Parkinson's disease.
Kalau perasaan jijik sih enggak ya.
Though I participated in the home visits for the first time, this mission doesn't scare me. I feel sympathy for the patients when I see them. When I did the ROM for the patients, I worried that he might get injured if I massaged him too hard, so I was very careful.
Kuat tenaga mungkin untuk nggak menyakiti, jadi ketika dia bilang sakit ya saya berhenti dulu.
Ria carefully gives the body massage to the elder daughter with compassion.
Harapannya kalau buat saya,
I see a different world today. I want to do more for those in need.
saya bisa terus ikut di kegiatan kunjungan kasih yang selanjutnya.
24-year-old Ria hopes to inspire more people to help those in need by showing her compassion and love for the needy.
Tzu Chi and Fu Ding Hospital have been developing their bonds since the hospital renovation was completed in 2004. Over time, that connection has grown stronger and stronger. Recently, medical staff has become even more involved in local Tzu Chi activities. Let's take a look.
Fuding City in Fujian, China has a population of about 600,000 people. Fuding Hospital manages the care for over 90% of the local population, and residents near the Zhejiang and Fujian border also come here.
If someone is sick, we always come here. We don't have a hospital in our area and our family is poor. It's hard for us.
When people come into Fuding Hospital, they often say, I already feel better just walking in. That's because this place is humanitarian and Tzu Chi's human touch is here with volunteers to accompany patients.
The spiritual bond between Tzu Chi and Fuding Hospital began with the renovation of the hospital. Since then, the staff and care workers have been influenced by Tzu Chi. Spaces are quickly filled with volunteers for the winter aid distributions.
We were given 100 spaces originally, and they were all filled in just 2 days.
Every time I join you all, I'm always moved in a different way. I feel very emotional.
Medical staff regularly help with TEMA clinics, but in the last 2 years, medical staff have also been joining aid distribution events.
The nurses place towels in the bottom of the box so that they will be close to the recipient's back. The toothbrush and things are placed to the outside, and she is very thoughtful in preparing the items, in fear it will be hard for them to carry.
With love, nothing is impossible, and with hope, there is strength. In late 2016, 5 medical staff became certified Tzu Chi volunteers.
We want to be the ideal disciples of the Master, being virtuous and pure and shoulder responsibilities.
We have been cultivating the humanitarian spirit. I believe that after this, even more people will come join our team.
The well-coordinated actions are the fruits of their diligent practice.
I'm very happy seeing all these young faces. You all are the hope of the hospital. It's also great to see people who will continue carrying out Tzu Chi's missions. We all recognize the Tzu Chi spirit and mission here.
Tzu Chi's humanitarian spirit of protecting life is also a core guiding principle of Fuding Hospital. Medical staff and care workers here will continue to spread love and warmth in the tradition of Tzu Chi.
The National Development Council estimates that 12% of Taiwan's population is aged 65 and over, with the ratio expected to reach 40% by 2018, or amounting to 3.44 million seniors. The Ministry of Health and Welfare estimates that there are 780,000 disabled people, with data showing the average care period for each individual amounting to about 8.9 years. This has led Taiwan to actively seek ways to cope with the increased rate of aging.
This is Pingshi's annual Lantern Festival, but after the event is over, the area is more like this empty train station and only elderly people in the community. Every Thursday at 6 o'clock in the morning, Pingxi District's Lingjiao Borough, 10 elderly ladies come together to clean and chop vegetables.
These volunteers are all like one big family, with the youngest being 68 years old and the oldest 82.
The original idea was simply to provide a free lunch, but it's also important to allow them to chat and discuss where they are experiencing some pain.
Pingxi has a lot of elderly people, with younger people moving away to make money.
According to the UN's World Health Organization, an aging society is defined by 7% of the population being over the age of 65. And if 14% of the total population is over 65, it is described as an aged society. Over 20% is a super-aged society.
Here, most people are elderly, and among the current population as of December 2016, of Pingxi District's 4,787 people, some 28% are elderly.
1 out of 3 people in Pingxi District is elderly, and according to the statistics from the Ministry of the Interior's Department of Household Registration of Taiwan's top 10 aged communities, many have more than 20% of the population over 65. In New Taipei's Pingxi District, the percentage is 27.29%, and Kaohsiung's Tianliao District is 26.07%, and Tainan City's Zhuozhen District is 25.19%. New Taipei City's Pingxi District is representative of many rural areas where partially disabled elderly largely depend upon foreign caregivers.
Villages are separated by quite a distance in rural areas, so our caregivers have to travel great distances between households every day by motorcycle. Unfortunately, government assistance doesn't cover this travel time.
According to the National Development Council, in the space of just 7 years, Taiwan will enter an era of super-aged society at a speed which is 1.6 times that of Japan, 2.8 times that of the United States, and 7.3 times that of the United Kingdom.
Our data shows that, for example, if someone is 80 years old, the average number of years where one needs long-term care is 8.9 years, according to the National Health Insurance Bureau.
Once an elderly person becomes unable to care for oneself, applying for a caregiver is not very easy, with the average waiting period being 16 days, with the wait in Taipei and Taichung being up to 1 month. Therefore, most people choose foreign caregivers. Opening the market to foreign caregivers lessens work opportunities for local workers. Though with Taiwan's population aging faster than other countries, there's a greater need for such caregiver services. The increase in the disabled population of 780,000 in 2016 is expected to reach 1.2 million in 2031. The current supply of professional services is obviously inadequate, and with Taiwan's rapidly aging society, there can't be any delay in the implementation of the government's Long-Term Care Plan 2.0.
Continuing our series on Taiwan's gifted education program, we will look at training programs for outstanding science students. Since its implementation, more than 3,000 students have participated in various training programs. Although not every participant finishes the programs, more than half of them eventually work in biotechnology industries. Therefore, programs like these are effective in training professionals and talents of Taiwan.
At the nationally accredited lab, the high school student is carefully planting the seeds of Arabidopsis with a test tube.
I'm a bit nervous as it is taking up a lot of time and there are people waiting in line. People are more serious here compared to our school, which has a more relaxing atmosphere.
This talented student at a famous high school is learning things not taught in school. He's involved in the biological programs for selected senior high school students at Academia Sinica.
其实是定位于在训练那个基础。
Since we aim to train talents to analyze in the field of basic science, we offer good environment and advanced equipment.
环境设备跟先进的那种仪器。
During the semester, every student enters the lab to learn lessons that are applicable in life.
真的有那个好奇心。
When students are curious and find these interesting, they will think, I can do this since it is so much fun.
However, not every senior high school student can take part in this training program. Participants must pass written and oral tests. Beginning in mid-November of every year, they attend classes every 2 weeks and are required to finish a research paper before the end of the program.
I joined the biology analysis club at my school. In 2 weeks, I attend classes there, which offers lessons on advanced biology and prepares us for tests.
帮我们准备这个考试。
这里的课程跟学校的课程是不同的东西。
The lessons here are different from those taught in our school. They lead you to look at the trends in biotechnology and the newest research.
也可能是最新的研究啊。
包括像果蝇。
In this biology class, analysts at Academia Sinica in the fields of biology, biomedical sciences, and agriculture are teachers. For these 10th graders, the lessons are a bit too difficult.
他们给的很多是他们。
They sometimes talk about their own research and we might not understand it. We are just in 10th grade. Although we cannot understand it, we can find parts that we are interested in.
但是还是会找到比较有兴趣的部分，比较没有兴趣的部分，这样。
不是在技术性或是说知识的细节上。
We do not give them lessons on details on technique or knowledge. From their looks and facial expression, I can tell whether they understand the lesson or whether they are interested in it.
Taking notes diligently, Liang Yuhua has to take a 5-hour train ride from Taidong to come here. Nevertheless, she has not missed a single lesson.
听完之后想几个问题，然后。
After the lesson, we can ask them questions because they are very professional. I do not feel that they are doing this carelessly like teachers sometimes do.
只是随便敷衍我，不像学校老师。
Many talent training programs for high school students started since 1984. Started by National Science Council, they were taken over by K-12 Education Administration, with additional programs in physics and chemistry. The programs then stopped running for a while when multiple college admissions were implemented in 1990.
有些家长是抱怨，就是说好像。
Some parents complained that entering this program seems to be helping them get into college.
大学，哦。
The programs resumed with the insistence of scholars and professionals. Up until 2016, 3,445 students were accepted, but only 10% of them finished the programs. However, they excel in International Biology Olympiad. In addition, Academia Sinica discovered that 10% of participants eventually became doctors, and half of them later worked in life science-related industries. Although not everyone finishes the programs, it still made a difference in many students' lives.
In Malaysia, the Malacca Garden City Recycling Station is open 365 days a year, even during the Lunar New Year holiday. The person behind this recycling mission is Lam Peng Hong, who sees the place as his second home. He has devoted himself to recycling work for 8 years with the hope of saving the earth while promoting environmental awareness to everyone around him.
Malacca Garden City Recycling Station opens every day, even during the Lunar New Year holiday.
关了，这边不但有关的。哎 ，brother， 哎 ，OK， 走了，新年快乐啊！
Tzu Chi volunteer Lam Peng Hong sees the recycling station as his home. He has devoted himself to recycling work for 8 years since 2009. He never rests, even during the Lunar New Year holidays.
I like to stay here. I have nothing to do at home, so I usually come here to rest. This is my second home.
This Tzu Chi family member cares for Mr. Lam by bringing him New Year's Eve meals, which are full of love and gratitude.
Really, he doesn't take rests. I cook some peppers with stuffed tofu, braised vegetarian duck, and fried some vegetables for him.
All these are made from recycled materials. After I welded and sprayed lacquer on it, the pattern of a jellyfish has formed.
Mr. Lam welcomes the Lunar New Year by doing recycling to help safeguard the planet and restore the Earth to its former glory.
Taoyuan's Jingsi Hall held a special gathering to celebrate the start of the Lunar New Year, inviting 3-time Golden Melody Award winner菁英to perform. Taiwan Tzu Chi Hospital Superintendent Jian Shouxing also shared his experience of providing medical care to refugees in Jordan, inspiring more people to donate their money.
More than 1,000 people in the audience are moved by this musical performance. Later, Taichung Tzu Chi Hospital Superintendent Jian Shouxing relates his experience treating refugees in Jordan.
We just wanted to care for local refugees. At the moment, medical aid is quite insufficient, so what can we do to improve their future? This is what we thought about when we came back, and we think we need more help to effect a bigger change.
People are in a way drowning and we need to help them escape. Of course, we have the heart and the ability to help others.
Not only do they have the heart to take action, but this painter with more than 20 years of experience, Fu Zhenrong, painted this fan for a charity sale with all donations going to international disaster relief.
I can paint right here and represent this beautiful moment of soul and mind for those in need and help them a little more of our strength.
When love is needed, we work together and changed our gathering to celebrate the start of the Lunar New Year to become a fundraising event bringing people together in Taoyuan to help refugees.
Using love to provide immediate aid and lending a helping hand so more love can inspire others to create a virtuous cycle of spreading more care and assistance.
At the end of the program, we stay at the Taoyuan Jingsi Hall, where volunteers hosted a charity fundraiser to raise awareness of the plight of the Syrian refugees. Before we leave you with these images, we hope you also do your part in helping the refugees. Thank you for joining us today, and we'll see you next time.